Welcome to Culturama. I'm Lee Coyne, your host, and we have a special guest here, namely Donna. Say
Potter.
Donna Potter. And you come from an ancient city called Salem.
Yes.
And you were born here.
Yes, I was.
We won't reveal how many years ago, but what was life like when you were a little girl growing up in this town?
Salem, when I was young, it was a place where you didn't have to lock your doors, where you could leave your car running in front of the store and run in, get whatever.
No thievery.
Not really, no.
And now?
Now it's really kind of turned around the other direction.
Uh-oh.
So not a good thing. Yeah.
Yeah.
So unfortunately.
Okay.
Yeah.
Now, our show today is called Addiction to Art.
Right.
And let's go back to your early days as a grade school kid, student, and or high school. How much were you into art when you were that young?
Oh, I started, I believe, about age 3 or 4. TV Guide used to have these little pictures in them. It was for an art school,
Wow.
and it had these little pictures in them, draw Sparky or draw the pirate. And I started out at about 3 or 4 tracing them. And eventually I got to the point where I'd do it all freehand, do all the shading. From there I progressed on to comic book characters.
I like that.
I constantly, when I was a kid, through junior high, I always had a drawing pad on me. Always had the pencils. I was always drawing whatever happened to be near me at the time.
Did you have any favorite heroes or heroines in the comic strips that?
Oh, I used to love Richie Rich and Sad Sack.
Okay.
Those were
You
the
remember
two,
those out there?
yes.
Some of you are old enough to know that stuff. Okay.
Yeah.
Do you meet any sad sacks in your life these days?
Oh,
No
I've
comment.
met a few.
Okay. Okay, good. And along the way, you might have had some inspirations, art teachers or friends or others who encouraged you. Can we mention a little bit about
Yes,
how they played into your life?
In junior high, I had a teacher named Ms. Pebbly, and she was an old hippie type, the long dresses with the fringed vests and such. But she was a fantastic woman, and she liked to do a lot of the one-on-one with people, helping them along, and she just, her interaction with the students really left a lasting impression on me. So, but yeah, I'd say she was one of my biggest inspirations.
Was there any particular part of the art world that she introduced you to that you retain in your mind? Did she, I don't know, use of
She was
pastels?
kind of an
or-
all-around. I used to, I took a couple of her calligraphy classes.
Oh, well, I didn't know you went to calligraphy.
I haven't done it for many, many years. so-
Okay. We can't recruit you to do it again.
Right.
Otherwise, we'd have you do calligraphy of our introduction
There
to the
you go.
studio. There's my dear friend Patrick back there. And he's in the booth making us viable and presentable. Anyway,
As I got into high school, I at that time I was working towards getting away from an abusive stepfather I had at the time. He had made me give up all my artwork, everything that meant anything to me. And it's been just in recent years, about the last 10 years, that I've really discovered myself. The
Terrific.
artistic talents in me are coming out again.
now you had some major speed bumps years ago where you got hooked on drugs of various
Yes.
kinds. And you're a success story of having come out of it. So part of our presentation today is how you did it and how art helped to give you a boost
Right.
and got you to where you are now so you can put that chapter of your life essentially behind you,
Right.
Donna.
I was about 18 years old, and because of the abuse and the put downs, I ended up with a really low self-esteem.
That often happens.
From that stepfather. I've got a wonderful stepfather now. He's my dad.
Good.
But the man at that time, he took everything away, and so I mean, he stripped me of self-esteem and everything.
That was
And
your boyfriend at the time?
no, my ex-stepfather.
Oh, ex-stepfather.
Yes.
Okay.
And I ended up turning to drugs because as long as it was meth. It's the main thing.
So you
As
deadened-
long as I
you
was
deadened the
doing
pain.
meth, I didn't have to feel.
Mm-hmm.
I didn't have to feel anything at all. I could make myself be whoever I wanted to be at that moment.
Could pretend.
Right. And after about 29 years of it, I'd actually gone through school in the meantime. I was still addicted to meth at the time.
Okay.
But I did eventually get into Chemeketa thanks to a woman named Sherry Dawn. She worked with the jobs program at the food stamp office.
Let me continue a little bit
Yeah.
because not everybody out there has used meth or knows
Right.
directly. What does meth do to you and how does it change you and weaken you? Let's talk from
Yeah,
the horse's mouth, so to
meth
speak.
will strip you of everything, and I mean everything. It will take away your home. It takes away your life, the people around you who love you. It takes away the emotions that a person really needs to feel to connect in life.
So the impact on your behavior is what?
It really caused a lot of mistrust with family members. As I said, I could be whoever I wanted to be, but it was all just a facade. It all covered that pain.
So it makes you feel pseudo-superior.
Exactly.
Okay, there's a new word.
Yes.
Pseudo-superior.
Yes.
I like alliterations.
But a neighborhood we had lived in, drugs were really prevalent there.
In Salem? What
The
part?
felony flats.
Felony Flats.
Yeah,
Ah.
yeah. And drugs are still really prevalent in that neighborhood. A lot of cocaine, a lot of meth, a lot of heroin. Thank goodness I didn't get into those.
Is that,
but
is
it was
south, north, east, where?
meth. It's in southeast, or I believe it's southeast, yes, southeast Salem. Right over by the main post office on 25th. So yeah, that whole neighborhood in there. I started seeing people going through there, and just meth will make you have exaggerated actions. So I'd see people doing this kind of thing, and wondering to myself, am I really like that?
You don't see yourself at that point.
No, you don't. And my boyfriend and I, we've been together about 22 years now.
Longer than many marriages.
Yes.
Sure.
We had some codependency issues when it came to meth, but we both decided we were going to quit. We've heard many times that you have to go through treatment. Well, I went through treatment and started using again right after treatment.
Okay.
So
It failed for you then.
that's not really true. You have to really want it. If you truly, deep in your soul, you want to be somebody, want to be someone that can embrace life, I guess you want to say, you really have to get away from that. And I realized, I cannot love myself as long as I'm doing this. And so I had gotten into the art
And you're worth
classes.
loving.
Yes.
Look at those blue eyes sparkle. Wow.
Thank you. Now when I look at my artwork, it amazes me to think that I could do something like this. This is after 27 years
Okay.
of no drawing, no school, no anything.
Wow.
Yeah.
Out of the cocoon. No more caterpillar.
Yep.
Good,
That's
good
right.
metaphor for springtime.
Yes.
Your metamorphosis.
I'm a spring baby. April.
Your birthday's in April?
Yes.
April what?
11th.
Happy post-birthday.
Thank you.
Okay.
411.
So let's talk a little bit more about how you got into art. You did some art back in high school, middle school, initially, but then you withdrew and got hooked on drugs through
Right.
low self-esteem issues and all.
Right.
And what made you return to art, and how did you approach it?
Well, Sherry Dawn had helped me in the jobs program at the food stamp office. She had told me that I could get my GED through a program there. And so I enrolled in Chemeketa in GED classes. I got my GED. Did that in 2005. 2006, I made honor roll. It was my first term in college. I was taking visual communications classes, and I started in the drawing, and as I said, it just reawakened a part of me. You know, it lay dormant for so many years. And now I can look back at my things, and every time I look at these things, it instills pride.
Oh, I bet. Let's take this picture you drew in '06, it says.
Yes.
Okay. Describe what it is and what your techniques was in putting it all together.
Well, at Chemeketa, they have I guess you'd say a staple drawing you have to do for the class, and that is your choice of one of two skulls. And it's pre-set up, everything is, and you go into the class, you mark a little place on the floor, you know where you're going to sit. And then you use measuring techniques in order to get the proportion correct. And now the way I chose to do this, it was used as an example in class because what this is considered is low value. Low value means very little contrast, very little coloring to it. And these little spots in here actually would follow in a high value drawing. But in this, by doing the low value with the dark spots, it helped give it a 3D effect.
It does, yeah.
Yeah.
Contrast.
Yep. And now this I've got about
Question. Is
20,
that,
25 hours into.
Donna, is this supposed to be the erosion of the cattle skull? What causes those little things?
Well, actually,
Parasites,
these
what?
are little holes where, like, the muscles, nerves,
So it comes with
veins.
it comes with the skull
Right,
naturally.
it's all part of it,
Only
yes.
our skin is covering it, so we don't know
Right.
what the heck is going on. And
Right.
we don't
Like
usually
the little
bring.
knot on the head here. You don't realize that the horns are coming
This
out
is
of
a cow or a bull or a steer or something, I guess.
here. Yeah, I have no idea.
It didn't
It's a
wake
skull.
up and speak to you and say, "Hey, Donna,
No.
in my previous life I was." No way. Okay.
Nope, nope.
Okay. So.
But yes, this ended up being my final for the
good.
classes I took.
Okay. And what kind of pictures do you generally draw? Are you into more landscapes or still life or portraits of
I'll
people?
do just about anything but faces. For
No
some
faces.
reason, faces creep me out.
Okay.
Of all things.
Yeah.
I can handle photographs, portrait drawings, you know, but I can't do it myself. I don't like dolls
Now, I
because
have
they
an
all
idea.
have eyes that are looking at
Yeah,
you.
I have an idea. I'm going to share it on camera. I can't promise you that'll come about. If I were in your shoes, a different size than mine, I would approach both the Boys and Girls Club over on, I guess it's Summer Street near Hood,
Right.
and the other would be the Croc Center, and ask them if they could consider hiring you as an art instructor and assistant art instructor
Oh, that'd be
to
fun.
demonstrate. That would be
Yeah.
a way to share your talents with the world out
Right.
there and influence the younger generation.
Yeah.
It's always an upbeat feeling for an adult to feel that they're nurturing the young
Right.
generation.
Right. And I myself would really like to see more of that. I think that that's part of what's wrong with today's generation of not really caring about others. There's a disconnect in there. And I think a lot of it comes from people sitting on the computer all the time. They aren't getting out. They are not
Yeah,
making
they're dependent.
face-to-face contacts with people. They aren't nurturing their
Slaves
inner
of technology.
talents. Right. They aren't nurturing those
New
talents.
kind of surf.
They're
It's-
just blowing
I would call
them
it
off.
cyber serfdom.
Right.
There's another
Yes,
new
yes.
word for our English language.
Yes.
Cyber serfdom. Okay. I hope you people who are writing future dictionaries are taking all these terms down with you, because it may be a winner when the new Webster edition gets published.
There you go.
Okay. Now, so tell us, do you have some of your pictures with you?
Yes, I do.
Do you Are they near the camera? Can you show them?
They're right off over here.
Okay. Our dear friend will bring them over,
Yes.
and we'll do grown-up show and tell. Okay. This marks his Hollywood debut. Thank you.
And we also, when we had quit doing math, we never looked back on it. You know, when somebody tells you you cannot do this or you cannot do that, never believe that. You can do what you choose to do.
It's important that you also convey the feelings of what it's like being an artist as you produce what. Wow, what's playing in your psyche?
Got this, which was
That's
my
a bullseye.
semifinal.
Now this is probably an advertisement for the Target stores now.
Yeah.
We should get a residual on that for mentioning them on TV. We're a non-commercial station, but just in case.
At least you
Okay.
mentioned them in a positive light.
Okay, good.
Okay, yeah, there was that one. And then one of the things they told me I had
I like your
to draw.
contrast, particularly with the blanket with the black and white stripes and all.
Thank you. Now, as the teacher had described this, the black and white draws you in,
Yes.
and then the stripes, or the, little, all those things kind of follow along with the,
Vanilla and chocolate.
right, and it kind of brings you around.
Yeah. And also, this is semicircular, whereas this is
Right.
stripes, but it's not in a perfect parallel type
Right.
thing as bent stripes. And this also, this is in the other direction. So if you analyze the textures here, you have this way,
Right.
this way, almost like waves of the sea, and then this is straight up and down.
Yeah.
I'm noticing the contrast. Not that I'm an art critic by any means, but
This was my only live drawing, and you see I've done it as a profile, again, because I can't stand faces.
but it's almost like the Indian head letterhead that you find
Yeah.
on the old 5-cent piece that
Right.
went out of existence in the 50s or 60s, I think.
Yeah.
Who is this supposed to be?
His name's Bill.
Yeah. And was he posed for it or what?
Yes, he did.
Okay, in the art class.
Yes.
Okay.
Here are two others.
Aha. Here's something that's real shapely.
This here was done as a lesson in shading.
We have nothing to fear but sphere itself.
Yep, sphere itself.
And cone. Now this could be either an ice cream cone upside down or a Dunsat.
Yeah, there you go.
Your choice. Free association.
Now this one is my honey's favorite.
Hi,
One of
honey.
his favorites.
Honey is sitting in the wings,
Yes, he
smiling,
is.
grinning ear
Harry
to ear.
Potter. And then this was the teacher's
Okay.
boot. I had a pair of boots like
Okay.
that myself.
Just in case you have to boot your computer, you can use this.
Yeah, reboot.
Yes. That's a pretty high heel. You know.
Yeah, it was kind of interesting with some of the
Now,
things.
I see there are some kind of scrape marks on the boot. Is that from sagebrush or a brush with somebody who you didn't like or
Well, I'm
what?
not real sure. I was almost afraid to ask.
That's a real boot that posed for you, huh?
Yep,
Okay.
that was the teacher's
It's called,
booth.
it's called Footnote to the Art World.
And now, see, I've got
Cool.
this one here.
Man, we're getting a whole gallery here today.
Now
Oh,
this one here is from a famous famous drawing
nurturing.
called Mother and Dying Child.
Dying
I thought it was a really morbid subject, but the way we had done it was put the value in, the picture up on the wall was through a projector.
Right.
It was out of focus, so what we had to do was put all this value in
Yes.
with everything
You know
out
who
of
might
focus,
like
not
that?
knowing what it was, and
Yeah.
you had to remove, put in more.
You
as
might
became
be
more
able
focus.
to either sell or donate this to the Willamette Valley Hospice over in West Salem.
Oh,
They might find that
Yeah.
is very valuable to frame and use that as something
Yeah.
that
that'd be interesting.
epitomizes their theme of nurturing for things. Oh, look at this! Wow. Well, somebody doesn't like faces. And let's get a few out, because otherwise it's like gilding the lily. Okay. Okay. Now this lady has very pronounced eyebrows. Is
John
that it?
Lennon.
Oh, that's John Lennon?
Yeah.
Oh, okay. I haven't seen him for a long time.
I had
Okay.
to do that from a tiny little picture. Tiny little picture.
Okay. I actually lived in Manhattan about 4 blocks away when John Lennon was assassinated in
Oh, really?
72, 73, thereabouts. It was
wow.
the old Dakota Hotel near Central
Yeah.
Park West.
Yeah,
Okay.
I remember that
Okay.
so well.
This is in a tribute to Yoko Ono.
Yes, there you go.
If she wants it, she could write to you. Okay.
And
Now
then
it's
there's this one.
springtime. It is
Yes.
time for blossoming and budding forth.
Yes. And this one here is a lesson in using
Yeah.
the darkness of the lines
Uh-huh.
or the lightness to denote the whether it's farther away,
Yes.
closer to you.
How long does it take you to put together something like this?
This one
2 or
took
3,
me
2 or 3 hours longer.
probably 3 hours maybe on that one.
Just to let us.
Yeah, now the
there it is.
boot and the skull,
Yeah.
I have got between 18 and 26 hours in each of them.
Now, if you were talking to a group of young people who had the vision of becoming artists and following in your footsteps, what advice would you give them? We'll talk to the camera there.
Never give up your dreams. My dreams when I was a child was to be an artist, but I had that taken away. Don't ever let anybody take that away from you.
By all means.
It's a God-given gift.
And
You can be taught to do some of these things, but when it comes to you as a natural thing, it should be nurtured.
definitely.
It should not be hidden. It should not be put away. Be proud of what you do. You know, revel in your artistic abilities, whether it be drawing, singing, writing, whatever it may be. Nurture that.
Mm-hmm. Good.
Don't let it go.
Yeah. In your particular training in school, what were the things that you learned, the classes you took that helped you as building blocks to where you are today?
Well, I look back at some science work I had done in grade school, and I actually had gotten very good grades there. Then I started looking at some of my other things, just looking back over my life, the art classes, the people I've known. After I quit doing math, I have, through Facebook, I've been doing a lot of reconnects with people that I knew before I started using meth. And very encouraging to find, people are just, they just don't do what they should do, really to help themselves out. Oops, I'm on the microphone here. Yes, as I said, nurture it, bring it to fruition. If you want it bad enough, you can do it.
And gather your friends as a support group.
Exactly.
You need people,
That's
not just
very, very important.
just inanimate objects.
Right.
You need to create your own fan club, as it were.
Exactly. You need to make your connections
Okay.
with other people. And think positive. Your life is what you make it.
Have no fright, have no fear, just have guts and persevere.
That's right.
I wrote that in
That's
my
right.
high school yearbook way back when.
Oh,
They changed guts to faith. 'Cause
Yeah.
In those days, they were a little bit more sensitive about body
Right.
parts.
Right. Yes.
Okay.
I
So,
follow your dreams.
so I'd like you to talk out there to anyone who may have an addiction problem issue in their life and give them some advice on what you need to do to find a more positive setting for yourself.
Again, it's perseverance. If you want it bad enough, you're going to do it. If you want to be clean, you can get yourself clean. You don't have to depend on a class. You don't have to depend on somebody else to do it for you.
Exactly.
You have to depend on yourself. Do some soul searching. Find what it is you really want in life and accomplish that. You have the abilities to do so. All you have to do is do it.
Value yourself.
And if you're not going to let somebody, this is part of how I got clean. I got to thinking, if you would not let a person come up and choke the life out of you.
Mm.
Why are you letting a substance do that?
Great analogy.
Yeah, it really makes no sense.
Mm-hmm.
And now Kerry, my significant other, he got clean when a friend told us to get clean, all you have to do is say you're going to do it and mean it.
Mm-hmm.
So be true to yourself. Do what you need to do to take care of you.
Okay.
Have the strength to do it. It can be done. I was addicted for 29 years
Man.
and quit without outside help.
Mm-hmm.
I have my support group,
But there
but
is
I
a
did
solution.
not have to depend on anybody else to get me to
Mm-hmm.
where I am now.
Okay.
This is all me.
Okay. Any other closing words? We have about 2 minutes left, and then I'm going to add an anecdote at the end. Go ahead.
As I said, follow your dreams. I have had problems with depression for a lot of years, and it's because I had no self-esteem. Find what it is inside you that makes you feel good about you.
Mm-hmm.
Nurture that little, whatever it may be. Singing, dancing, drawing. Find what you're good at
I do poetry a little bit.
and do it.
Mm-hmm.
If for nobody else, do it for yourself. The self-esteem that my artwork has instilled in me has been fantastic. Every time I show it to somebody, I get that sense of pride.
Mm-hmm.
I actually did these things myself.
Congratulations.
Thank
Okay.
you.
I want to give you a little ditty that you can write down and keep for yourself in your darker moments. And it is, procrastination is the weakest nation and determination the strongest. It's your choice
That's
which
right.
nation to ally with.
That's
Okay?
right. Be
And
true to you.
an abomination is not the way to go.
No,
Okay.
that's the worst nation of
Okay?
all.
I ask you all to consider writing in your suggestions for future topics and guests. CCTV 575, Trade Street, Southeast, Salem, OR 97304. Make it attention Lee, Lee, Coyne, Coyne. Drop us fan mail, non-fan mail, things you like, things you would like us to improve, and we are influenced by your suggestions. So I want to wish you all happy Mother's Day coming up, a beautiful spring, and may your soul flourish and bear fruit just like our friend Donna. Thank you. So
Love
long
and
for
light
now.
to all.
Have a happy. Bye. Take care.